Glover's residence?
Oh, this is Mrs. Tround speaking. Is Mr. Glover there?
I'm afraid he's not down yet.
Oh, dear.
You see, he went to a function last night, and he was obviously rather late back.
I understand.
Still, that means he enjoyed himself, doesn't it? You know, ever since he was quite young, he's always enjoyed his parties. Stuffing himself with chocolate biscuits and cream cakes.
I am president of the Thriller Writers Association, and I'm phoning to remind him of the invitation I've sent him for our function tonight.
Oh, another function. Oh, he will enjoy that. Here he is now. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was the gardener.
Mr. Glover knows all about our function. This call was only by way of a reminder.
Just a reminder, quite. But unnecessary, I assure you. Mr. Glover is very assiduous. Goodbye.
Assiduous? I'm acidulated.
That was Mrs. Trown about tonight.
So I gather. I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, Mr. Patrick, I think you had a little too much at last night's function.
Annie, I have had a lot too much of functions, period. Do you realize that I have been to 13 literary dinners in the past 2 weeks? I've got T-bone steaks coming out of my ears. They always serve them, you know. Prawn cocktail followed by T-bone steak followed by fruit salad.
Well, the steak sounds very nice to me, Mr. Patrick.
Annie, I am not referring to a dainty porterhouse or a nice piece of fillet. I am talking about T-bone. It's just about the same size as a rather thick tea tray.
Mr. Patrick, now you just go and have a nice shower and get dressed and you'll feel like a new man.
Well, I could do with feeling like a new man. Anyone but me. Oh.
What's the matter with Uncle Patrick, Nanny?
Well, dear, between you and me and the gatepost, I think he's been overdoing it.
Overdoing it?
Yes, he's been at it every night for 2 weeks. Has he? Yes, and as a man of his age, he really can't go on like that. He told me so himself.
You mean he's given you the details?
He didn't need to. I can tell by the way he pants in the morning.
Well, I always knew he had an eye for the ladies, but I didn't realise he had this kind of turnover.
I can't find my shave coat. Oh, hello, girls.
Morning, Uncle Rudolph.
Rudolph.
Rudolph Valentino.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm surprised you've ever heard of him.
He was a sex-mad lover boy of silent movies.
We read about him in one of Dad's very old film magazines.
It was Nanny who made us think of him, telling us about all your escapades.
What was Nanny telling you?
Ah, there you are, Mr. Patrick. I bought you a nice bowl of invalid broth.
Invalid broth?
Yes, it'll give you renewed strength.
Well, they say it did Casanova a power of good.
Casanova Valentino?
Now, come along. If you don't eat something, you'll be ill.
If I eat that, I shall die.
Now, we mustn't be a crosspatch, must we? Now, I'm just going out to wash up the dishes, and when I get back, I shall expect to find an empty bowl.
Mustn't be a crosspatch. Want to find an empty bowl. What does she think I am? I've had this body quite a number of years, and I think I know what's best for it.
And then why not plunge it into the pool and cool it off?
Thank you very much. I'm already cooled off quite enough, thank you. Why, out here, people seem to like it every night. Back home, I hardly get it once a fortnight. That's only because I've come to an arrangement with the butcher's wife. I tell you, do you know, my jaw is still aching from the steak I had last night.
Steak?
Yes, T-bone steak. You have to chew and chew and chew. Oh, my God, I've got lockjaw.
It's okay, let me.
What?
Lie back.
Oh, my God.
No, hang on.
What have you done? Oh, that's funny, you cured it. Well, now, where did you learn that?
Well, I once saw a farmer do it to a calf when he wanted to get it on the ground for branding.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I think I can do without the letters PG burnt into my rump. Rump, oh, we're back to steak again.
And that's what you've been talking about all the time.
Yes.
Steaks?
Yes.
When you said that people over here liked it every night.
Well, what did you think I was talking about when I said the people... Go and wash your mouths out at once. Whilst you're at it, give your minds a good rinse, too. You two girls, you've got minds like sewer rats.
Have you finished, Mr. Patrick?
No, I have not finished, Nanny. What have you been saying about me to these two sex-ridden gossip mongers?
Me? But Uncle Patrick, we don't mind you enjoying yourself.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan, for your free pass to the local orgy. But I do know how to behave myself, and as I have said time and time again, before I leave for England, I intend to instill into you two girls the same respect for rectitude and clean living that I am proud to have upheld myself. And what is more,
I hope you don't mind. I borrowed your shave coat.
Excuse us.
I'm sorry to come down in this state, but I think I left my shoes down here last night. Oh, here they are.
Oh.
It was very kind of you to put up with me last night.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? No, well, was it? No, I mean, it was very kind of you to let me put up with you. Oh, Nanny, I'm so sorry, Nanny. Nanny, this is Mrs. Miss...
Radford, Leslie Radford.
Yes, of course, Miss Radford.
But last night you were calling me Leslie.
Was I? Oh, well, I hope you'll return the compliment.
What a coincidence. I'd be pleased to, Leslie. Leslie kindly pressed me to stay for the night.
Oh, yes.
Though pressing was hardly necessary, was it?
No. I hardly had to press her at all.
I see. Would you care for some invalid broth? I mean coffee. That's very kind of you, but I must be getting off home. My pussy will be wondering what's happened.
Oh, and exactly what did happen?
Well,
I gave Leslie a lift home because he wasn't well enough to drive himself.
I see.
You'd really had your fill, hadn't you?
I certainly had.
Oh, yes.
Not drink, Nanny, not drink.
And when we got here, I realized that I'd had my fill too. But mine was drink, I'm afraid. So Leslie very kindly gave me a bed.
The spare bed, Nanny, in the spare room, at the spare part of the house. Nowhere near anyone.
Well, I must prepare myself for tonight. See you there, Leslie.
See me where?
Mrs. Trown. You haven't forgotten Mrs. Trown.
Oh, that, Mrs. Trown. No, I haven't forgotten her.
Though how you put up with all these functions, I shall never know. It must be the T-bone steaks that give you the energy.
Now I know what the girls mean by Casanova and Valentino.
Danny, it was nothing like that at all.
You know, your brother expected you not only to look after the girls' health and happiness, but he put their moral welfare in your hands as well.
Nanny, that woman is simply one of the same 100 faces I see every night at these functions. She simply drove me home because I was too bloated to drive myself. She was perfectly all right when we left the place. I can only assume the fresh air must have got at her, because by the time she arrived here, she was as a newt.
Nevertheless, Mr. Patrick, the girls are convinced that these functions have the worst kind of effect on you.
These functions do have the worst kind of effect on me, Nanny, but not the type that the girls are thinking of. The sort of effect they have on me is prawn cocktail tummy and lockjaw. Well, I'm not going to tonight's function, and that is final. I simply cannot face another apple compost.
Compot.
I was right the first time. Is it too early for a drink?
For an alcoholic beverage, yes. For a black coffee, no. I've got some on the hob.
Oh, well, I suppose a black coffee might do. I don't know. Oh. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you could always get out of tonight's function by saying that you've ricked your back.
Yes, I suppose I could. Though I dread to think what connotation the girls will put on that.
Now, let me see. What day is it today?
Thursday.
What a pity it isn't Pancake Tuesday.
Oh, that wouldn't worry them. They'd simply make a T-bone pancake.
No, I meant, if it was Pancake Tuesday, you could always say that because of family tradition, you were only allowed to eat pancakes and that nothing else must pass your lips.
Well, I can't say I'm over the moon about pancakes, Nanny.
Well, at least you could chew on those without getting lockjaw.
I suppose so. But it isn't Pancake Tuesday. It is Thursday, Bloody Thursday.
Well, now, what other days have we got? Easter Monday. No, that's just a bank holiday. Shrove Tuesday. We've had that. Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, out here, they probably have a public barbecue on that day.
Well, that only leaves Good Friday and Palm Sunday.
What, no Thursday?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, well, we just have to invent one, that's all.
Invent one.
Well, I mean, it's only fair, isn't it? Poor old Thursday's the only day of the week that doesn't have any fun. I know. Thruppling Thursday.
Thruppling Thursday?
Yeah.
What happens on Thruppling Thursday?
Well, everybody thrupples. That's it. Now, where's that Trown woman's telephone number? Ah, there we are.
Mr. Patrick, don't you think that perhaps thruppling sounds just a little bit
Yeah,
like...
well, it isn't, Nanny. It's an old English country custom, like Morris dancing, or the Eton Wall game, or pushing a pea up a hill with your nose. Oh, the stupid cow's out.
Hello?
Mrs. Trown. It's Leslie Glover. Patrick Glover.
Oh, Mr. Glover, how kind of you to call me back.
Mrs. Trown, I am most awfully sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint you at the last moment about tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you see, Nanny has just reminded me that today is Thruppling Thursday.
What, Thursday?
It's an old English custom, really, yes. Rather like pushing a pea up your nose. But the whole point is that on that particular day, you see, nothing must pass my lips except thruppling pie.
Oh.
So in that case...
I'm going now, Leslie.
Cheerio.
But Mr. Glover!
No. I wasn't saying cheerio to you, Mrs. No, it was my cook, yes. She's going.
Not leaving you?
Oh, no. She's just going out to get the ingredients for my thruppling pie. That's fixed up.
Girls, tea! Mr. Patrick, tea is ready.
Okay, coming, Nanny. It's a hap thruppling day, toodle-oodle-oodle-oodle-ay. For you and me and us and we, it's a hap thruppling day.
You sound very cheerful, Mr. Patrick.
Oh, I am, Nanny, I am. And the day stretches before me without a T-bone steak on the horizon.
Thanks to Thruppling Thursday.
Thruppling, Nanny.
Thruppling, yes.
Yes, one thrupples, not thripples.
Yes, I think I've got it in my mind now.
The mind, Nanny. Oh, what a wonderful instrument is the mind. Oh, thank you, my beautiful mind, for letting me think up thruppling pie. I thank you, my stomach thanks you, and all my teeth thank you.
Sorry, Uncle Patrick.
What's that?
Yes, sorry.
What about it? What about it?
About our little misunderstanding earlier on.
I'm calling you Casanova.
And Valentino.
Oh,
And all the time you were just
just who?
an invalid broth drinker.
I am not an invalid broth drinker. I'm a perfectly normal, healthy male, just like your father. And what is more, I do not burn my candle at both ends. In fact, I frequently don't even have time to light the wretched thing.
Mrs. Trown? It's Mrs. Trown. She's sitting down.
Now then, girls.
We know, Uncle Patrick. You're a normal, healthy man.
Yes.
Just like our father.
Yes.
And you don't burn your candle at both ends.
Right. Now, you may both go into the garden and eat worms. Mrs. Trown.
Mr. Glover.
Will you excuse me? I have some ironing to do.
Yes,
Of course. Oh, Mr. Glover, I can't tell you how disappointed we all are that you can't make it tonight.
Yes, isn't it a shame?
You're going to miss your prawn cocktail and your T-bone steak.
I know.
And your apple compote.
Compost.
I beg your pardon.
I can't possibly help it.
Perhaps I can turn a disappointment into an advantage and ask you a very special favor.
Favor?
I want to be one of the only people over here to share the secret of your recipe for thruppling pie.
You want the recipe for thruppling pie?
Yes? The ingredients.
Yes.
I have pen and paper.
No, they're not in the pie.
No, to take down the ingredients.
Ah, the ingredients. Yes.
I'm all ears.
Well, none of us is perfect. The ingredients, yes. Well, of course, first of all, you need pastry.
Pastry.
Yes.
Puff or short crust?
Short crust on the top, puff on the bottom. And then inside the pie, you need 2 pounds of tripe and onions mixed with oatmeal. Heat this over a base of smoked mackerel soaked in cider.
Cider?
A large bunch of grapes.
Grapes?
Pipped
Pipped?
and skinned.
Skinned?
And then, for a touch of the exotic, you can put in a pint of whipped winkles.
Oh,
But that is optional.
thank goodness.
Then, at the last minute, throw in a handful of green chilies. Bake in a number 4 oven for 11 hours and keep basting with rancid goose oil.
Well, it certainly sounds different.
And so economical, too.
How?
You don't need pepper and salt.
Well, I can't tell you how grateful I am, Mr. Glover. And much as I hate to ask a further favour, especially knowing how busy you are, but you couldn't possibly come along to Our Lady's luncheon tomorrow, could you? And talk briefly on old family traditions like this?
Luncheon, well...
We'd do you a special treat.
T-bone steak and apple compote?
No, no.
No.
T-bone steak and trifle.
Well, I'm awfully sorry, but I'm afraid I must refuse. I don't think I'd feel like lunch, not after Thruppling pie.
Well, perhaps you could come after lunch.
Well, yes, I'm not even at all sure that after lunch...
We'd pay a speaker's fee, of course.
I'll be there.
Oh, Mr. Glover, thank you.
Oh, God, no.
Mr. Glover? Ah, Mr. Glover.
Oh.
Wanda Wilson, Sydney Bugle.
How do you do, Miss Bugle?
The paper's the Bugle. I'm Miss Wilson.
Oh, Mrs. Crown, Miss Wilson.
Hello, Ruth.
Oh, I know Wanda. She's one of us.
Is she?
I think I've left the iron on. One of our association.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but my readers would be absolutely fascinated to hear about Thruppling.
Would they?
And so would I.
It's all round town since you cried off tonight's function.
I see, but it really is rather difficult.
Do try, Mr. Glover.
Yes, do.
Well, you see... Oh. Yes, well, you see, it's a sort of game and a competition.
Sounds fascinating.
But it really is far too complicated.
My editor will pay for the exclusive rights.
I'll tell you all about it. Well, it's really a game played by men.
Try to think of us as chaps.
Chaps, yes. Yeah, well, first of all, there's a leader.
A leader?
Yes. He wears a sort of headdress.
You be leader then.
Well, then we have a symbol, a maypole.
Very symbolic.
A maypole?
Well, you can guess what it stood for, can't you?
Oh, good gracious, all those years ago, and they had dirty minds.
Maypole was the symbol of good, you see, and then the symbol of evil was represented by animal. Here we are. There. Now then, round the circle of these stood the Thrupplers.
The Thrupplers?
Yes, Thrupplers. Now, they all stood on circular stones which were twisted by the village maidens.
But we haven't got a maiden.
Speak for yourself.
These will do splendidly. There we are. Right, come along now. Mount. Oh, but don't start twirling straight away, will
No,
you?
I wouldn't dream of it.
There we are. That's fine. Got it? Oh, excellent. Good. Now then, you need catchers.
In case we fall off.
Yeah, no, to catch the balls which are thrown to you by the chief Thruppler.
I see.
Here we are. That'll do you for your catcher. And here is your catcher there.
Thank you.
Now then, since I haven't got any balls, use the oranges over there. Now, you have to catch the oranges in your catcher. And when you do, you have to rush towards the symbol of good, the maypole. But, of course, you are so dizzy from the twirling by the village maidens that you might well go towards the symbol of evil, the animal, in which case you are eliminated. Right, now start twirling. There we go. Time to go. Oh, that's funny. Keep turning. Keep with it. Now then, you've got to catch the oranges. Right you are, catch them. Oh, come on. Catch them. Oh, catch them. Come on, hurry. happened 24 hours ago. I gave you a perfectly rational explanation, and you are still going on about it.
But Uncle Patrick, there isn't a rational explanation for you in the arms of two ladies.
Both in a state of ecstasy.
And you wearing one of their hats.
Well, forget about it. Now go off into the audience and listen to my speech.
Oh, do we have to?
Yes, you do. I want you to keep the applause going at the end.
Mr. Patrick, are we allowed to ask questions?
No, you are not, Nanny. After yesterday, you might ask some I cannot answer. Now go on, off you go, off you go.
So boring. What's wrong with that?
Ladies, I cannot tell you what...
Ah, Mr. Glover, may I thank you again for yesterday?
No. No, well, you did. And yesterday is over. Now, do you want me to go straight on stage?
No, Mr. Glover. First, we have a little surprise for you.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Well, we all know how you sacrificed coming to our function last night because of your strong feelings for family tradition.
Yeah.
So we thought we would make this a day to remember.
Well, perhaps just a small glass.
Oh, no, Mr. Glover, something far better.
Better?
Some of our ladies have been baking Thruppling pies to your very own recipe. Better to judge the winner than an expert like you.
Well, I...
Ladies?
What?
Hello again.
Well, good gracious me. Well, I never did. Yes, well, I must say, they look, delicious.
Oh, yes. But, of course, the proof is in the tasting.
Tasting?
Now, we mustn't be greedy, Mr. Glover. Only one spoonful from each pie.
One spoonful finger. Oh, yeah, well, then, yeah, well, again. Quick on the lunch.